If you're watching this, no, we are not selling knives. It's politicking, and it's next. There we go. That was when you were supposed to do it. Welcome to a show where politics is a joke. It's politicking, and I'm your host, Tony King. It is our penultimate show. Don't look confused. Penultimate. You know, penultimate. It means the moment right before the end. It's been a great ride, and I am grateful for you tuning in every week, joining us right here for all of our craziness, but most importantly, talking politics and news right here. We love you, we appreciate you, and of course, we are going to keep it going. But before I get too emotional and too deep, I have to do what I do every day. We have a show that is going to entertain you, and we are so excited about it. We have some amazing guests joining us to talk politics on our panel. We have the host of the Clay Young Show that airs on WBRZ Plus, and the host of the Clay Young Podcast, 225. Clay Young is joining us. Give it up. Of course. And also, we have a dynamic comedian and entertainer and the host of the Late Shift that airs on WBTR. New season coming in January. Give it up for Will Merrill joining us. Yes. But first, let's kick it off like we always do. Every show, it's time for the Seriously Unserious News. All right. With the all-important Iowa caucus taking place next month, a recent Fox News poll shows President Biden behind Donald Trump in a head-to-head race, 50% to 40%, and against Nikki Haley behind 49 to 43, and against Governor Ron DeSantis tied at 47. DeSantis at 47 apiece? I guess we know who ain't winning that. Anyway, when asked his thoughts about the poll showing him behind, Biden responded by saying, "They're all wrong. It's the wrong polls." And he shouted it like an angry old man. Donald Trump is still the clear frontrunner heading into the caucus season, which is interesting given his recent statements about being a dictator. When Donald Trump was questioned by Fox News host Sean Hannity before a live audience in Davenport, Iowa, he said he would only be a dictator for a day. But not a day after that. Yeah, right. Dictating is a lot like eating Oreos. You start off with one and then you say, I'll just have another, and another, and another. And before you know it, you're fat, sleep on the couch, and Oreo crumbs are starting all in your beard, and you're covered in Oreo dust all in your stomach, and you just lay. Don't ask me how I know. But before he dictates, he says, first of all, dictate, that's a funny word. Before he is a dictator, Trump says he's going to capitalize on this season by selling wrapping paper with his mugshot of his arrest on it. What? Trump wrapping paper seems like the wrapping paper for gifts that you don't want, like herpes. That's the gift that keeps on giving. You open it and you be like, oh, you shouldn't have. No, you really shouldn't have. But President Biden has his own issues now taking place in the House. In the House where an impeachment inquiry has been set against him regarding his business dealings with his son, Hunter Biden, who has been indicted in California on 9 tax evasion charges. The filings suggest that instead of paying his taxes, Hunter spent his money on drugs and escorts. Sounds like Hunter knows how to have a damn good Saturday night to me. But Hunter is in quite a dilemma. Not only does he have these new charges, he also has a pending federal gun charge. Drugs, guns, escorts. Hunter Biden is acting like Avon Barksdale from The Wire. Like 50 Cent should do a spinoff show about him. Instead of call it power, call it powder. In state news, facing water shortages in recent years, California has announced plans to turn sewage into drinking water. So essentially, California is planning to give everyone Dasani. In stunning Hollywood news, fresh off the press, actor Jonathan Majors was just found guilty of assault and third-degree assault and harassment charges following an altercation between his then ex-girlfriend. First off, why does this picture of the headline of him look like he's saying, wait, so I'm guilty? Joining him in the courtroom for the verdict was Megan Good. First, have you noticed that since they've been together that he's been having a line lately? Have you noticed that? Because, see, you can't be with a sister with that Supercuts haircut. Within 30 minutes of the verdict being read, Marvel released Majors from his role as Kang the Conqueror. Wow. Guess who's coming to a Tubi movie near you? Jonathan Majors is about to be in a movie with all the promising black actors who fell off. It's going to be Jonathan Majors, Cuba Gooding Jr., Nate Parker going to be in it. And it's all going to be produced by Diddy. Oh, I'm playing. Diddy's going to be in jail. But what did Jonathan Majors think? We all heard the recording where he wanted his ex-girlfriend to be like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. First off, this is your ex-girlfriend. And this is Coretta Scott King. And this is Michelle Obama. One of these things is not like the others. One of these things just doesn't belong. Can you tell which thing is like the others? Let me guess, you already figured it out by the time I finish my song, huh? Anyway, in religious news, the Pope has announced that same-sex couples can now receive blessings. In a recent document from the Vatican, the Pope announced that same-sex couples should not be denied blessings due to interpretation of, quote, scripture.
What?
Quote, blessing in scripture is to insist that people seeking a transcendent relationship with God and looking for his love and mercy should not be subject to an exhaustive moral analysis as a precondition for receiving it. Wow, that's good. Pope, since you bless same-sex marriages, can I ask a favor? Can you bless my heterosexual divorce? Like, why I gotta go to hell because that woman crazy? Just saying. Speaking of, a Baton Rouge man convicted of drug trafficking only gets 2-year sentence after reciting Aristotle and verses from the Bible in court. According to the Advocate, U.S. District Judge Shelley Dick, Chief Judge of the U.S. Hey, man, y'all are immature, man. Sentenced Marco Philos to 26 months behind bars and 3 years of probation after he was released for his role in a drug ring that sold kilograms of cocaine and heroin in East Baton Rouge Parish. Standing before Judge Dick in a striped jail uniform, he read an excerpt from Aristotle's Greek treatise Rhetoric and used it to highlight a change of heart that he's had while awaiting trial. He also read aloud scriptures from Romans, and she bought it. Most men do this when they get caught cheating, recite the Bible. But me, I don't recite the Bible. I take it up a notch. I can't tell you the number of times I done got baptized. I get baptized again. It's been 15 times I've been baptized since the first time. Just saying, I do what it takes. Why I gotta move out because I don't know how to control myself? Anyway, you do what you gotta do, man. And finally, New Orleans police caught a murder suspect in the most unusual way. New Orleans police were able to track Nile Ward, a 26-year-old woman accused of second-degree murder, after they found a wig at the crime scene. Could you imagine that police lineup? Like they just match a whole bunch of bald-headed women around and just stick a wig on their heads, like a hood Cinderella. She got caught by her wig. It was purple. It was a purple wig. Gots to be more careful. Anyway, we have a great show for you tonight. You definitely want to stick around because we are going to be talking with our panel. And of course, you know the top 5. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. It's PoliTicKING. Welcome back to a show that has the messiest audience in late night history. It's politicking, and of course, we are here with our panel. We told you about it. Our first guest is the host of The Clay Young Show, which airs on WBRZ+, and also the host of the Clay Young Podcast, available on all streaming outlets. We have Clay Young. Thank you for joining us. And our next guest is a dynamic comedian and host of The Late Shift, which is gearing up for its new season in January. Welcome, Will Merrill. Yes. Guys. Thank you for joining us, man. It's been a long time coming, man. I'm glad you guys could join us.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
yes.
Your commercial breaks are savage.
First off, what Clay is talking about.
No, that's all right.
The commercial breaks are really something to enjoy. You definitely want to be here for the live studio audience, man. It's because they've been drinking. Don't mind it. So, of course, our panel, man, we sit and we chat about the things that are going on. We have a lot that's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, and, nationally, locally, just everything, politics and everything in between. One thing I wanted to jump in about, we're a month away from caucus season. Mm-hmm. The Iowa caucuses kick off in a little under a month. Mm-hmm. And we've seen about 1 million Republican presidential primaries. President Joe Biden has already said that he's going to jump out there and continue on for re-election. We don't really have, outside of one congressman, a real Democratic challenge. So it's pretty much Trump against everybody, leading the field in all polls. What do we think about this upcoming election? Is it just a formality? Trump is going to be next?
If he's not convicted and prohibited from running. He's a Republican candidate.
I think that even if he is convicted, he would run.
If there's no way to stop him, he's going to be the candidate.
Yeah.
How can you stop him even if he's convicted when you have so many allies, supporters, and surrogates who are willing to overlook or supersede what is law and precedent and still, try and move forward? Because at this point right now, who would even think to vote for him, even with all of the charges that are pending against him?
Man, politics is about connection, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on. Mm-hmm. And he's connecting with people who think like him, and he doesn't deviate from his messaging. Mm-hmm. And he says things out loud that no person with common sense would say often, but there are people who believe it, and because of it, they're loyal to him.
Now, one thing that we're seeing, because he hasn't even participated in any debates.
Why would you?
What?
We just elected a governor who didn't.
Yeah. And that's actually been a recurring theme that we've seen in politics, where people feel like, hey, if there's not a real challenge, why am I even going to waste my time?
Facts.
But don't the voters deserve to be able to hear him stand his message up against everyone else in the field?
I mean, what is his message, though? Like, his message has been the same since, we've known him. It's basically been, hey, make America great again, and everything is fake news, and Trump is the first of everything.
Well, but that's the thing, though. We can stack up the things that he has said that aren't necessarily reality. And right. I'm not saying to or against Trump or anything like that. It's all in what the voter wants. But when you stack it up against certain things that he said, when you hold him accountable to things that he's done, not saying it's good, not saying it's bad, but shouldn't he be held accountable against his counterparts that are running?
People want to be agreed with. Mm-hmm. They want to be agreed with. Even if what they believe is wrong, they want to be agreed with. The average person who is a fan of a politician at that level will never get a chance to meet them. So when people on a national stage says, hey, if you think you have COVID, drink bleach. Wow. Or people want to be agreed with, and that's what he does. He's a business guy, a salesman, a real estate guy. He learns what his followers want to hear, and then he just parrots it over and over and over again.
Well, what you just described, though, wasn't so much of a businessman, and I think that we can identify with this, and even yourself to a certain degree. You just named an entertainer. Mm-hmm. If you're sitting here listening to what your people...
TV shows.
Yeah.
And the highest ratings NBC has ever seen.
Yeah.
True.
Higher than Seinfeld, Cosby Show.
Really?
No, I'm lying.
Okay, all right. That didn't sound right.
Didn't he try to patent the "you're fired" catchphrase?
Yeah.
At one point, I think he tried to patent that. So,
but to me, what you described, because you said someone who's fans of a politician, not someone who is supporting a politician, someone who's voting for a politician.
That's gone now.
No. Yeah.
We're in the entertainment phase.
Yeah.
Because think about it, besides President Obama, who other president will you see so much paraphernalia regarding from flags to T-shirts to bumper stickers to to shoes
hats,
to whole
hats?
The hats,
yeah.
The hats, Trump has become a brand almost. and a brand for representing the, the wrong side of the wrong side of, say social change, but it is a brand and people are buying into that brand.
So we're in this era, and we kind of briefly talked about this off the air. We're in this era of entertainment politics. People want to be entertained more than governed.
Yes.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just like George Santos, saying the guy that was lying about everything, he's just
Literally everything.
everything. He lied about everything.
I don't even know if his name is George Santos.
I don't think it is. I think it's like Jorge.
The thing though is, why are we acting like this is something new with Trump? Like this whole entertainment aspect of politics.
I think it's because when Trump was first elected, and I think people were like, okay, what are we going to get from him? And you got what everyone was afraid of, which was, a belligerent person that came in and didn't know what he was doing.
Hold on.
I disagree because people thought he was an outlier because you had people like Jim Brown going to see him, widely respected man. Russell Simmons going to see him. They knew the Steve Harvey. They knew the version of him they knew from New York and had interactions with them and wouldn't be critical. That's the Trump they knew. The politician said things that even they wouldn't agree with. Everybody knows Jim Brown is one of the greatest Americans to have ever lived. But they went to see him, and Jim Brown is not going to be forced to go and endorse anybody. He wouldn't even criticize him. So it's different. And as it relates to America, man, funerals change perspective. Funerals change perspectives. As old guard dies, whatever's behind them controls the narrative about what's next. And that's what happened. America went through a period of transition for rights for people who look like us because people who didn't agree with rights for who looked like us started dying off. And they started winning elections. Right now, people don't necessarily want to know about constitutional statutes and laws. They want to know who has the hot burn in a debate, which is why I don't watch them. Because they're not trying to teach you anything. They're trying to get the biggest applause line. And so when he won the election, it was more about people who knew him. Mike Tyson, all these people who have no reason to lie they thought they knew someone else. And now you have a candidate who's fighting for his freedom, who is by far and away the top candidate.
Is he really fighting for his freedom, though?
No, that sister she want him. So,
But what is the real possibility of Trump actually being held to account?
It's politics. It's hard to say.
It's hard, yeah.
It's hard to say. But it's different now. Because on the other side, you look at the president who has people moving away from him because of his age. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the presidency already ages you. And
but he was old when he got elected.
That's what I'm saying. Now he doesn't even look like a spry 78. Like now he's like, he kind of looks feeble. He looks like he'll fall asleep. He looks like, bring me applesauce with my lunch.
It's almost like you got to cut up his.
That's what I'm saying.
His State of the Union address.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to cut it up and feed it to him on go call.
I bet you the type on his text is really big. I bet you it's huge.
I bet you got a Jigabird phone.
But the question I want to ask though, just to kind of continue on, is when did this entertainment style happen?
99.
99. Explain.
Bill Clinton.
You believe that Bill Clinton was the first to?
Satire took over during the Lewinsky stuff. And there were things talked about in that you never really heard talked about in politics. Now you are on. So in my opinion, the thing that changed media more than anything else was the O.J. Simpson trial. Because media companies knew that entertaining the public would draw eyeballs and earlobes to talk media. So you were looking for volume. And so now news stories lead with, if it bleeds, it leads. Because you're fighting against clicks. In 1996, the internet as we knew it was kind of born. And at the time, you didn't understand it. So they don't need you to learn anything. They need you to pay attention. So, my company, we're ever chasing the algorithms and the changing ways that Meta and all these companies make you pay attention. So it's not, you could do a post and have 1,000 likes and it doesn't move the needle as much as a post with 100 comments and 50 likes. Right? So they're paying attention. So the OJ trial changed everything. I just had a conversation with somebody and worked at CNN about that. Like in the newsrooms, that was the thing.
Yeah.
And so now when you go into the Clinton trial, it became attack politics about a sitting president. When was the last president you saw talked about in the way Clinton was talked about?
Well, I believe that Clinton did something that no other president
No, I'm not talking about what he did or didn't do. I'm talking about the way it was discussed in the media. There were certain subjects that were over the line you didn't talk about out loud.
Right. Okay, I can give you that.
Yeah.
I can give you that.
And so then you follow that with the Gore-Bush elections. That became another show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then we went
Hanging Chad.
Okay.
Florida. Yeah.
And so by the time you got to Bush, Kerry, and then Obama, John McCain, it was already out. It was already build a negative narrative on a candidate and stick with it. Barack Obama's not a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the 2012, that was binders full of women. Remember that one? Yeah.
You know, and he misspoke, but, you know, Mitt Romney was a suit dummy. He didn't have much personality. Right? And so you get to Trump, who says things out loud that people would never say on a dais for a presidential election. Things that people sitting on turned over buckets around a fire would say to themselves. Now a billionaire candidate for president, he says them.
So essentially, my question is, can we ever go back to a time period? Because really, I believe that it wasn't Clinton. I believe it was really Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was the king of the one-liners. Every press conference, he was entertaining and throwing people off by being very charismatic. And he was an actor who led the Screen Actors
It's a
Guild.
different time.
He was an actor.
Ronald Reagan got elected when Jimmy Carter lost political favor with the American public because of the war in Iran and the price
hostages.
and the hostages and the price of gasoline, the gas lines around the country. Reagan came in and he was going to be the guy. Yeah, he was good at the one-liners, but that was at a time when Democrats and Republicans at the end of the day would go drink scotch together.
Right.
Now they don't want to even be seen in the same room together.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of gang stuff.
Yeah. It really is. It really is.
Bloods and Crips.
It really is. It really is.
Man.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now you got now they turning on each other.
Yeah.
They are.
And so that's an interesting dynamic. But it's all for entertainment and show.
So to answer your question, I do believe that it will normalize again because pendulums swing in such aggressive ways. And so as you know, elections are won in the middle.
Right.
Fringes don't win elections.
Can you tell the Democrats that?
I ain't touching that. Elections are truly won in the middle. So if you ask the average person who identifies as a Republican or a Democrat why they are, it's based upon their own personal belief about life and where they are, right? So when you find somebody who, look, we've had 3 straight presidents who've gone into office with the House, the Senate, and the White House. And nothing changes.
Nothing. Actually, it's almost been worse almost to a certain degree.
And so because people have to go home to their districts who are different. Look in Louisiana, every 1 hour you drive is a different culture. Lafayette's not like Baton Rouge. Shreveport's not like Lafayette. New Orleans is not like any other place on the planet.
New Orleans,
So it's different. And so I've said the same thing to people who talk about judges. When you elect judges, you have to remember they have to go and campaign to the people who put them in office. Right? So politics it's math. And so Trump's playing the game. Why would he say something to make? He lost because white Republican women stayed home or didn't vote for him.
So what is he doing with what he's saying now? What is he doing?
Staying off the stage. Can't hate me if you don't see me.
I like that. I like that. So, but at the end of the day, you believe it's going to swing back, but
I don't know when. I don't have a crystal ball, but historically it always does.
Because here's the thing: if Trump wins again, he's going to stay in office. And does he get 2 terms now? Because that's
actually I don't understand that.
I don't understand that
because I don't know.
Is it 2 consecutive? Well, first off, it's not even really in the Constitution.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand if he
it's not in the Constitution. It's
about
not.
the 8 years.
Yeah, it's not. That's just a gentleman agreement.
But I think it's a party thing too, right?
No,
it's like the 22nd Amendment.
No, it's not in the Constitution. That's how FDR stayed president for so long, or it wasn't in the Constitution. Let me say that. That's how FDR did his time.
Yeah, he was in there for a long time.
You know what I'm
I think
saying?
it is now, but I don't want to speak to it.
Yeah,
I don't know. So in my
think it's
office, I always say, no, don't think. So I'm not going to.
Yeah. But at one point it wasn't. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I do not believe it's going back anytime soon. Which means at the end of the day, we're going to have President The Rock.
So here's the thing. What?
Yeah.
President what?
The Rock.
Dwayne Johnson?
Yes.
You gonna lay the smackdown on foreign politics?
Yes. You're laughing.
No, I'm not. I'm just
Hey,
that's an interesting.
Hold on. Here's the thing. It was reported recently that both sides have inquired and asked his interest about running. And he was at the Pentagon and visiting and touring different PACs and factions, trying to gauge certain elements of what it would take to actually become that. He hasn't expressed interest, but he hasn't said he's not interested.
So entertainment aside, Dwayne Johnson is an educated, accomplished businessman.
Correct.
So if he chooses to do it, he's over the age of 46. He's not a felon.
Yeah.
Go with God. So
Yeah.
I would not criticize him if he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Be entertaining as hell, because I don't know how hard you're going to criticize somebody who looks like that on stage next to you. Can pick you up and throw you off the stage.
He do the people's elbow.
But I think my concern about it and why I believe it will swing back is because on the afternoon of January 6th, the country was in a different spot. Even Republicans, Kevin McCarthy, even they were like, wow. If you've ever been to Washington, D.C. and know how much security is in the district, to see something, I never thought I would see something like that. There are guys with long guns on almost every street corner around the Capitol District. So I don't think the country has a stomach for that. I really don't. I don't think you have fringes who cause problems. Look, here in Baton Rouge, man, people talk about crime. That's a small percentage of people who live here who cause crime.
Right.
The average people, even in the hood, are not people who are causing crime.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I don't know that the country wants that. In fact, if there was a stronger Democratic candidate, I don't think Trump could beat him.
You bring up a good point, and we're going to stick a pin in that right there. Stay tuned. We have more right here with PoliTicKIng, our amazing panel. I told you, it's a good one. Stick around. Don't miss it.
Phoenix Air Spa provides its customers with a soothing environment, incomparable professional services, and extraordinary results. Relax, recharge, and re-emerge anew at Phoenix Air Spa, always aesthetically you.
The wine's wearing off. Anyway, welcome back to a show that is glad the Saints finally got in the win column. It's PoliTicKIng. You know what? We owe someone an apology. Yeah, we do. You know what? We'll get back to our panel soon enough, but it's time for me to get a little serious, as I always do during this segment. Recently, the Grammys chose to honor the 50th anniversary of hip-hop with a celebration of artists and performances. The show was hosted by LL Cool J, and it featured performances by Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. Queen Latifah, she performed twice. You had De La Soul, you had Common, had a ton of artists, everybody. It touched every genre of hip-hop. It even had political performances by artists like Public Enemy and Boosie. I don't care what you say. His verse on Wipe Me Down, that is as political as you can get. The show was even closed out by a historic performance by the first ever Grammy winners of hip hop, the Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. Yes, people born in the 2000s, Will Smith was once a rapper. But of all the artists showcased, one notable huge artist was omitted. He was not there. And that artist, MC Hammer. See, that's just wrong. That right there. He deserved to be there. See, why does Hammer get all that hate? He shouldn't get that. I mean, so what? He wore those pants that looked like he had a wet diaper on. And at his height, nobody was bigger than Hammer, as seen in the Pumps and Bump video. Pause. But at his height, Hammer had endorsements. He had popular music. He was even so big, he even got Deion Sanders to make hits. And hip-hop artists of his time hated him. The reasons were because they said he danced. Well, Big Daddy Kane and Heavy D did too. They claimed it was because he was too commercial. Well, so were others in hip-hop. But no one had his level of success. Wait, not one. There was two. Kid and Play. They had a Saturday morning cartoon, they danced, they even had 4 movies, more than what Hammer had. But they don't get that hate. And I have my reasons as to why I think so. But it brings up a greater issue. We hate success. As Americans, we love it when you're on the bottom. But when you're on top, they want to pull you down. Such is the case with Hammer. People hate it when he had millions upon millions in money and popularity and was on every other Pepsi and Taco Bell commercial. But as soon as he fell off, we celebrated and made him a punchline. I'm not gonna do that tonight. I'ma send him his flowers, and you should too. None of what hip hop is now would be without Hammer. Big brand deals, man, he had that first. Smashing models and actresses, oh, Hammer did that. So we need to give him his props. And before some of you say, I'm just saying that because I'm a Hammer fan, I would say, no, I'm not a Hammer fan. Hammer almost kicked my ass. True story. But just because Hammer almost kicked my ass doesn't mean that he wasn't great. So we all owe him an apology. So go on, get some Hammer pants and go ahead and start doing the typewriter. We owe it to him. It's politicking. We'll be back.
They like you.
This guy. Hey, welcome back to a show that is excited because it's almost that season. W2 season. Come on now. It's politicking. And of course, we're here with our panel. We have Clay Young and Will Merrill. Now, first off, let me say this. I stand corrected. I must correct myself. I mentioned and misspoke last segment about presidency and the consecutive terms and about, re-election and things like that. I was speaking in terms of prior to FDR, and that's Franklin D. Roosevelt. But it is the 22nd Amendment, as Will stated. So that is correct. So yes. I told you, man, you learn on politics. Now that's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
Now, Clay, you mentioned something last segment where you talked about you believe that if there were a better candidate than Biden.
Oh, a different candidate.
A different candidate than Biden. Mm-hmm. That could actually give a more competition than Trump.
Look, unfortunately, people won't say this out loud, and I don't wish anyone's demise on them at all.
That's not even wood.
Okay. I don't want to wish any demise on anybody, but people are concerned because of his age and because of his deteriorating health.
Yeah, and the presidency is hard on you.
And it is hard on you. And, look, again, I don't even like putting that out.
No, we totally understand.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is a concern for a lot of people that he possibly would not complete another term. And I think it's weird because the closest most of us can remember something like this
Reagan?
was the end of Reagan.
Yeah.
But we knew that was drawing to a close.
Yeah.
Right? And you saw him a lot less in the last 2 years.
Right. Nancy was very protective at that time.
Very much so protective of him. We have not seen that, since then.
Yeah.
And when you see the president now, you see him struggling to finish his sentences, and there's all this talk about an IFB in his ear to help him get through, public appearances. And look, hey man, I hope to cross 80 and beyond one day. So I'm like, wonderful.
Yeah.
But that is a factor in this.
It's a serious topic that we need to discuss. Fitness for the job, because the presidency is hard. We've seen it.
But again, it's fitness tends to reflect something he's not doing. We will all get older one day.
Yeah.
And that's just we hope.
Yeah.
We will all get older one
if
day.
we're blessed.
Right?
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So it's just nature. It's Father Time is undefeated.
Undefeated.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to kind of bring home is you said if there were a better candidate.
Different
candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I keep saying better, but if there were a different candidate.
I think it would be a different race. I think there would be more. Look, Democrats have not done a good job building a bench.
Mm-hmm.
There was no long bench after President Obama.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There was his Veep and no one else.
Yes.
Right? There was chat about Cory Booker, that went away. Cedric Richmond was like, nah.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't a long bench. Now, Republicans have a bench.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And a few of them are from Louisiana.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean, when you have, you've had two people that really could have been speakers. Yeah.
So the thing is, and this is not a problem that's impossible to fix, right?
Okay.
There's talent all across the country. Barack Obama was a state senator in Illinois.
Yes.
Ran for U.S. Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Ditka got out of it because the Republicans put his name out too fast.
Yeah.
He backs away. U.S. Senate seat, Barack Obama gets it. He doesn't even finish a term before he's a rock star, skyrocketing to the White House.
Within 5 years, he went from state senate to president.
That's exactly right. And then a two-term president,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
George W. Bush had been a candidate in Texas for a while, ran for governor there, beat a stalwart female governor there.
Ann Richards.
Yep. And then when he runs for president, because of Clinton's popularity, because President Clinton, in spite of all of the negative stuff going on, had a plus 50% approval rating in the country, which is why Al Gore had, because they're very, very different personalities.
As we see now, when Al Gore is really out there with climate change and things like that being very
Weird.
Yeah. And Clinton is more traditional, almost a moderate border. That
fantastic politician, man.
Yeah.
You know, this guy, I don't remember if it was his second or third State of the Union address. The prompter didn't work, and he did the speech from memory.
Really?
Wow.
I did not know that.
I mean, you know, most of these guys who get in there, George W. Bush, for whatever you think about his, his public speaking, has an MBA from Harvard.
Yeah.
So it takes a special kind of person to get to that level. And you know President Obama's educational background, everything that goes along with it. It's just different now, though, because the value of resume and intellect was top of the wave. Now it's who's got the best one-liners. And when people fall into that trap with Donald Trump, you cannot win, because remember what he did to Rosie O'Donnell?
Oh, yeah. It's called her a pig. Yeah.
On TV.
Yeah. He said, and he did not deny that he, had made disparaging comments against women.
Oh, I thought you were going
He said,
somewhere else.
No. But even to insinuate those certain things. But
Dog, I've been in a lot of locker rooms. No, I'm just going. I'm sorry.
No. But that's true though, and I said the same thing during that time. But here's the thing though. Do you think that the lack of value for, like you said, intellect and resume, do you think that almost mirrors what we're doing in society?
I'll go back to what I said earlier. People want to be right.
Yeah.
They want to be right. They don't want to know more. What you just did with him, we're talking about the amendment. I couldn't remember which one, so I didn't want to throw one out there.
Right.
He nailed it.
He did. Good McKinley graduate.
But here's the thing. People want to, but in the absence of learning what was right, you didn't debate to be right.
No.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes people debate without information. I always talk to people about religion. America does not guarantee your right to religion.
Yes.
The Establishment Clause guarantees that the country can't tell you what to believe.
Yes.
And I hear people say it all the time. It's like, that's not right.
Yeah.
And we get into debates about what America's not a Christian nation.
As much as we hate to say it.
Well, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson wrote a letter to the Danbury Baptist in 1864, I believe.
I bet you didn't think you were getting a history lesson.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I love it. That's the whole purpose of the show.
But it would say that we would not establish a religion or tell you what to believe.
Yeah.
Right? Constitutionally, the reason why we didn't always get rights, because America guaranteed rights to its citizens, but we were seen as a percentage of a citizen.
Correct.
And so being right now supersedes what's right. You just want to be agreed with.
Yeah.
But this is why I believe, because you know what, man? If you follow a fool long enough, he or she will make you look like a fool, and then you'll go in another direction. That's why I believe it'll change.
Now, one thing I want to throw out there, just kind of to continue on this train of thought, you said a different candidate. Now, let's bring it home locally. We just had a governor's race. And most times when we have a governor's race, at least it goes to a runoff. We didn't even get to a runoff. Some are in the Democratic Party are, left wondering what happened. Some are saying, well, hey, nothing against, Sean Wilson as a politician or what he's done for Department of Transportation, any of those things, any post that he's ever had. But some say, maybe if we had a different candidate, and you talk about that bench, but not even just nationally, but here locally, statewide, we don't have that bench. Do you think, and I don't want to put you on the spot because I know we know a lot of different people, do you believe that if we had a different candidate, that we could have at least had it go to a runoff?
I think you needed a different campaign, a different strategy, and it would have gone to a runoff. The state is more than 30% African American. Dr. Wilson fought for votes in parishes that he should have won outright. There was no money put in by the National Democratic Party. The state Democratic Party did a piss poor job. I'm not saying he would have won, but if you had a competent strategy, a long ground game, he would have made the runoff, and I stand on that.
The thing that's interesting, though, I don't remember hearing a lot of people talk, like in Main Street, the barbershop, talking about Sean Wilson.
Nah, because, I mean, to be quite honest, like, Sean Wilson was really the only Democratic candidate running in the governor race. So you should have thought that, for the very least, because you had like 5 or so, plus Republican candidates running.
You thought somebody could have siphoned votes and maybe he could have,
split it up a little bit, what I'm saying, like let it go where it needs to go and stuff like that, and then Sean Wilson would have came in and been a runoff between whoever it would have been. But unfortunately, like, Clay said, I mean, the ball was dropped on the campaign.
He had all the money. He started campaigning in January. Before the election, he never missed one Southern home game, he being Jeff Landry.
Yes.
He didn't take for granted black voters. He ran black radio. He put television in places black people saw them. He put a black man in a campaign ad who wasn't shucking and jiving. It was a serious candidate talking about a serious issue that he, as an AG, supported, right? He paid a courtesy, right?
Okay.
So he ran a competent campaign. I know Dr. Wilson, like him personally. His campaign was trash. Not him as a candidate.
No.
We
totally
never got to
understand.
know him.
Totally understand.
We never really got to know him.
That's what I'm saying,
We never got to know him. And again, man, in any competition in life, if you think you're ahead, you're a fool. The greatest of all time always think they're behind. I don't think I'm ahead in any level in life. I don't need that level of comfort to make me stop. Sometimes you got to get your behind up out of the bed when you don't feel like it.
You know what? I'm gonna record that, and that's gonna be my alarm when I need to get up and wake up and work out. It's gonna be Clay Young saying, "Hey, sometimes you got to get out of bed."
And there goes your handkerchief.
The handkerchief got something to say. See what I'm saying? It wake you up. Right. Hey, hold on. We're going to talk more about this. Stay tuned. We have more on the way right here with our panel. It's PoliTicKING.
What's up? This is your girl, Megan Good, and I want to give a shout out to Mad Game ENT.
Best audience ever. Welcome back to the show that can't wait until Christmas. Because I need some new drawers and socks. It's PoliTicKING. I'm here with Clay Young, Will Merrill. Y'all know how it is, man. You need some.
Facts.
Hey, you need it. When I was younger, I used to hate it. I used to hate getting drawers and socks. Now, I'm like, I can't wait till Christmas because I need some new drawers and socks.
Facts.
But anyway.
Yeah, because you didn't invite me here to talk about your drawers.
I did.
I love you, dog.
I'll take another cut.
No.
Oh, man. It's been fun. But no, I want to talk about something. Y'all heard me mention it in the Seriously Unserious news, okay? And it's nothing to play around about, of course, domestic violence or any type of aggression or violence. We stand against in all ways. but we heard the news that Jonathan Majors has been dropped by Marvel. And that's really huge news, especially with the fact of how much money Marvel has put into trying to build what they were going to build out in new phase of the Marvel cinematic universe. And so you have that. You have other things that have come out, recently, like I joked, and, it's not funny, but, Diddy and the situation with Cassie and other accusers coming forward, other people that were on the Bad Boy staff. But it kind of brings up even more than that, just the thoughts of cancel culture. What are our thoughts about cancel culture? And I know as entertainers, we have a different thought process about it. And I keep saying us as entertainers, but I mean, your show is entertaining as well, so you're an
I hope so.
Yeah. No, it is. But cancel culture, what are our thoughts about it?
I think right now it's kind of what it is. It's one of the situations where it's like, as society has evolved, like cancel culture with the age of internet and stuff like that, where people's one opinion can be reached to the masses, and it snowballs to the fact that like the cancel culture is created to the point where like Jonathan Majors, a person who, saying had like 8+ charges against him, got found guilty of 1. And now,
it's all over.
And it's all over. Whereas you have, other people, like Rob Lowe, who had a sex tape with a underage girl, and Mel Gibson.
When was that?
Man, you are pulling a Hannibal Buress right now.
Yeah,
you are
with it. You had Robert Downey Jr., who was part of MCU, who had like drug and alcoholism and stuff like that, went to jail and things like that, and he shook back and part of one of the biggest stars in the MCU. And you have all these other different people that may have these falls from graces, but then they able to come back and rehabilitate themselves. Where Jonathan Majors comes in, one charge and he's gone.
But go ahead.
So, what RDJ, for instance, that was 20 some odd years ago.
Sure.
30 years.
30 years, yeah.
I didn't even know about the Rob Lowe thing.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, because I ain't trying to get sued.
Oh, no. I mean, I think it's out there.
So I think when things that people don't know about pop up, you become a victim to it. Let's be clear. There are 2 forms of cancel culture.
Okay.
Domestic violence is a completely different thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Absolutely.
Facts.
So that right now is almost, you're not going to recover from it. I guess unless you Will Smith and you slap Chris Rock.
Well, it's not domestic. That's just outright violence.
Well, But I mean that it's so different. Like, I don't disagree with what you're saying.
Sure.
But in the today's culture is today.
Yeah.
Now, for me, the cancel culture that I really get annoyed by is someone being asked a question, giving an opinion, and the masses don't agree.
Yeah.
And then they cancel you.
Yeah.
Right? That whole being agreed with thing.
Yeah.
This is something that went through the courts. It was adjudicated.
Yeah.
And he caught 1 charge.
Yeah.
The long-term detriment to the company is something that somebody like Disney is not going to mess with, because Disney is this behemoth that has all these things, from entertainment to sports to all these things that they do. And that's just the nature of where we are.
Yeah.
It's just where we are. So, it's not that what he said is wrong. 2 things can be true. Yeah. But it's where we are right now.
So are we saying
Charlie Rose got canceled?
Yeah, man. But that was actual sexual assault, though, wasn't it? Or some sexual misconduct of some sort, right?
Yeah, but that just goes to show you, if you can cancel Charlie Rose for wanting to see young girls walk, they'll cancel anybody.
Well, the thing that I don't necessarily, there are a couple of things that I don't necessarily agree with cancel culture. And that is, there are no rules to cancel culture. Like, so again, if I say something that in 2010 or 2012 was something that was actually not bad to say, but through the lens of time, now it is. Yeah. Why should I be canceled?
But that's different, because I don't agree with that. People need to toughen up.
Yeah,
again, you don't have to be agreed with. We can sit and debate. I don't need anybody to agree with me on any single thing. I tell people this.
Are you still a 49ers fan?
1,000%.
I don't agree they're going to the Super Bowl.
Well, that's your position.
Oh, I thought you were gonna get mad.
No,
like most
no,
49ers fans.
no.
You're not a
no.
Cowboys fan. They get mad.
No,
at
no,
them.
no. When you say, who knows what's going to happen?
Right.
But the thing is, it's like, I don't have to be agreed with.
Yeah.
You know what that is, man?
What is that?
That is slavery to the opinion of someone else. That is you saying my opinion holds less value if you don't agree with it.
Yeah.
If I'm standing 10 toes down on my, I don't care.
Yeah.
So when you look, we both eat steak.
Yeah.
You may like, how do you eat your steak?
Medium rare.
Okay, we agree.
Okay.
Some people like them well done, and people want to debate. I ain't buying your steak.
I mean, if you like charcoal, that's fine.
Whatever.
But you on leather?
Right, whatever. But again,
Matata.
it goes to other things too. The roles of men and women. It's like, man, we sit and debate. It's like, that's one side of it that I'm not down with.
Yeah.
But when you hurt the franchise, when you
mess up the money,
Mess up the money.
can't mess up the money,
you got to go.
can't kill this fatted cow.
So okay, that's one thing as it pertains to, like, domestic violence or any type of charge
Assault or
anything
sure.
like
Yeah,
that.
I get
But
that.
what happens when a comedian says something that is crazy?
It's garbage.
In our business,
Yeah.
we have Matt Rife right now.
Matt Rife,
Yeah.
That's getting a ton of negative publicity just about him doubling down about some of his comments. That
Dog,
was
they'd have put
sometimes-
Red Fox in jail.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Eddie Murphy in the 80s?
Oh,
Forget about it.
Yeah.
I was listening to
That Raw album right now?
Raw, delirious.
Delirious.
You
both of them.
First 5 minutes, he would have been gone.
Yeah.
You watch Sanford and Son, if you put that on television, no.
Sanford and Son, Jefferson's, any Norman Lear production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
All
would hear
family.
almost every racial slur in
You
the
could actually
book
say the N-word.
on live television.
Yeah.
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 I told you, funerals change perspectives.
When you know what? So it's the old guard dies out. But here's the thing: what was once accepted is not accepted anymore. So why should we be held account to something that was acceptable?
Dude, the rules back in the day was say what you want, keep your hands off me.
Yeah.
That used to be the thing. I don't care what you say, don't touch me.
Now we can't even say.
Oh
what
my
we
God,
want.
now you can't look at somebody. You can't do the negative emoji on a comment on social media. I knew this was gonna be the case. I posted something the other day. The post was, I love me some Baton Rouge. And I just wanted to see. And it's interesting when you see people's comments and the complexion of people when they commented on it. And I just let it go. I was like, yep, there it is right there.
Wow.
You just fed him, huh? You just went up, threw it out there and was like, yeah.
I threw the alley
He must have. He wanted to have fun that day.
because it just goes to show you, man, again, it's that whole thing about being agreed with. And I think you're 1,000% right.
Yeah.
Except when it comes to issues of DV.
Yeah.
Or abuse of children or things like that.
Yeah.
They're gonna get you.
Yeah.
And you know what? They should if you're
Yeah.
guilty of that stuff.
Yeah. But saying something though, like,
Come on, man.
especially now, when everything happened between what was going on, of course, the horrible conflict going on the Gaza Strip. When that first hit, celebrities were being, I want to say, almost emotionally blackmailed to pick a side.
Yeah.
Why is someone not saying this about Palestine? Why is he speaking up for Israel?
1,000%.
Like,
Yeah.
it almost became a sense of you have to choose something right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead of, for me, I like to just stay out of it because
Slavery, dog.
Hey.
People want to be agreed with. This is what I think. Do you agree with me?
But my thing is this.
Yeah.
Who cares what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this? I'm saying, why do you need my opinion?
Did he say
Basically,
something?
Well,
No,
he said, holla.
I'll tell you about that after. The thing is I think we put too much clout into what celebrities think.
We've been trained to believe in groupthink, man, because groupthink is monetizable. Groupthink is monetizable if people are influencers because they get people to agree with them. And that is turned into, I'll send you a check if you get 1,000 people to agree with you.
Man, I almost got excited because you didn't say if you get 1,000 people to agree with you. I thought you was just saying you was gonna give me a check. I was gonna say, yeah, Clay, appreciate you.
No, but I understand.
Check the cash.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm grateful that we had you two come through.
Oh, man, it's
we
been
had
great.
fun.
It's been
And
great.
as always, the door's always open.
I'm proud of you, boy.
You guys
Yeah,
can
man.
really, hey man, that really means a lot, man. I really appreciate it. And the thing is, you guys are always welcome to come back. Can't wait to have you back. Will, Season 2, or season 3, I'm sorry.
Season 4.
Season 4.
4.
4.
Yes.
January 2024.
January 2024, season 4 of the Late Shift Will Merrill, produced by Mad Game ENT.
There we go.
Yes.
Be on the lookout for it. Clay Young, the television show, WBRZ Plus, and you can catch that. It's running all day.
Yeah, I know they've run it, the replays a lot, but Friday night, 7:30 p.m.
Yes.
Podcast225.com. Big news with the TV show coming first quarter 2024.
Can't wait to hear about it.
Can't wait.
Hey, we appreciate you all for coming through.
Yes, sir.
As always, man, open door policy for you. Stay tuned. We have more with PoliTicKING right here. Man, commercial breaks are crazy, boy. Welcome back to a show that would vote for The Rock if he ran for president. It's PoliTicKING, and Christmas is right around the corner. And it got me thinking about some of my best memories as a kid. Opening gifts and the excitement of just really excited to get what I want. And then being disappointed. I know Christmas ain't about the gifts, but that's what broke people say when they can't afford to get you good gifts. Which brings me to my top 5, the top 5 worst gifts I've ever gotten for Christmas. Let's go. Coming in at number 5, a remote control car with a cord attached to it. But the cord was only 1 foot long, so I had to follow the car around like I was walking a dog. I didn't ask for a car so I could take it for a walk. I asked for it so I could jump ramps. It was trash. Coming in at number 4, corduroy pants. When I was little, I asked my mama for a Sega Genesis. Instead, she got me corduroy pants, and not just regular corduroys. I'm talking about cornbread brown corduroys. And then they were too tight in my thighs, so walking around, I was a fire hazard. Never worn. Anyway, coming in number 3, house shoes. This gift came from that one year I had to spend with my dad for Christmas. This dude, he got me some house shoes. Now, what 7-year-old wants to walk around with house shoes? I was like, man, take me back to my mama house. Coming in at number 2, Brute. That very same Christmas, my dad got me some Brute. Had me walking around like I just came from Keela's. Like, this dude didn't even try. He just stopped at the pharmacy that he worked in and just walked around. Coming in at number 1, a peppermint and walnuts in a brown paper sack. True story. This one comes from Sunday school. I was in church, right? And I remember I got in trouble because this girl, she asked me what I got in Sunday school. Because they would give everybody a gift. And I told her, I got something she could suck on. But I was talking about the peppermint. Anyway, that's our top 5 for today. That's gonna do it for tonight's show. Special thanks goes out to Clay Young. Be sure to catch his show on WBRZ Plus and his podcast on all streaming platforms. And also special thanks to Will Merrill. Season 4, be sure to catch it. It hits out the Late Shift. Be sure to catch it January 2024 right here on WBTR. And remember, you can always catch me performing. I'm performing in Hammond New Year's Eve and also at Comedy House New Orleans February 24th. You don't want to miss it. Follow me on all social media platforms. And until next time...